Vulture Overcourt, you welcome indeed to another edition of the programme. Well, this week we're bringing you part one of a two-part music special to mark the 80th birthday of legendary showband star Johnny Carroll, who's also celebrating 66 years in the music business. A music extravaganza in native Galway hospice was held in the Clayton Hotel in the city, where many of Johnny Carroll's friends from the world of showbiz, family members, neighbours and fans turned up in their hundreds to honour the entertainer who is known throughout the world as the man with the golden trumpet.
Well, I'm Julie from Glenamaddy, the Four Country Roads. As you know, people are very familiar with the Four Country Roads. But going back over the years, of course, I would have danced to the show bands when I was a teenager a long time ago, and would have danced to the Premier Races. I wouldn't have known who any of the band lads were. I would have known that there was a guy on there with ginger hair, but you wouldn't know where he came from or anything about him. You'd be going along to talk to the main man, whoever that main man might be, whether it was Houston Wells or whoever, you know. Started going out and mixing out with the bands and the artists and all that kind of thing. And I would have met Johnny Carroll along the way a few times, but I really didn't know anything about Johnny. And of course then as time went on and the COVID and all things happened, Johnny would ring many people. And he would ring me because I suppose I would be playing him on the radio, his music. And Johnny rang me, I think it was Easter Sunday, for a little chat. And I just casually said to him, "Johnny, you'll be 80 this year." And he said to me, "How did you know that, Jules?" I said, "Well, you know, I do astrology, and of course I'd be sometimes looking at people's charts." And I said to him, "Well, we'll have to have a little party." Just kind of in a casual joke. He said, "There's no one to organise anything, only yourself," because Johnny would have known that I would have organised some things in Glenamaddy and a few different places. So anyway, I went away and I thought about it for a few days. I thought, well, 80, I know that many people are 80, but it's always a time to celebrate, and I like a celebration. So anyway, I sneaked behind Johnny's back and tried to get all the information I could. I didn't know anything about his family life, his children or anything, you know, but I kind of found out afterwards there was none of them in music. So I decided anyway that it was time to have a little party. So I decided on, first of all, March. But Johnny is away a lot, you know, he takes a break and he's rightfully entitled to do so after all his years of hard work. So I decided in November, I looked at my astrological chart, and of course the 28th of November 2023, very significant, Venus in Libra, and at almost 28 degrees, well, it was time that I could book. So I did book the hotel, and then I rang Johnny, and I got a hold of his daughter Priscilla, and I said about the function, and I rang Johnny and I asked him, was he free on the 28th? And he looked in his diary and he said, "I am, Jules, and I'll play anywhere for you." So anyway, I booked that in, and then a few days later, well, of course I had to tell Johnny. So I said to him, "Johnny, you know," I said, "I'm going to organise a little party for you, a get-together." Now at that time, I didn't know that Johnny Carroll was the longest professional artist in show business. I didn't know at that time. But anyway, we booked it up, and I said to him, "It's going ahead," and he said, "Well, on one condition, Julie, that all the money goes to the Galway hospice," of course, which is a wonderful cause. So I had no problem with that, because I wasn't going to be keeping the money anyway. So I started booking, and we booked the hotel and then all the artists, and of course it escalated into about 23 or 4 artists, and told them all it was for the hospice, so everybody was happy to do a few songs, and they were happy to do a few songs for Johnny Carroll. And I was telling everybody then, he's the longest professional artist in show business. Of course, Johnny won't live forever, like all of us indeed, but his music will last forever, and we're very privileged to have him.
Look, we're all looking forward to a great night. Congratulations for organising such a wonderful event, a sellout show here tonight in Galway, and it's a great tribute to Johnny Carroll.
It is indeed, and thank you very much, Henry, and all your staff. And we'll look forward to when all the crowd gets into the hall there. I'll be able to maybe relax a little bit, but I have a little bit of work to do yet before. We have a piper to pipe Johnny in, piper from Dublin. We have the brass band from Castlereagh, 25 of them. Johnny played with the brass band going back when he was, I suppose I got started off with the brass band. And we also have a gentleman here tonight who's 93, who kind of discovered Johnny Carroll playing in his bedroom all those years ago. 67 years is just a phenomenal amount of years, you know. It's a lifetime for some people. And those that are dead and gone, may they rest in peace, and those that are here tonight, long may they all live.
Mickey, how did you discover Johnny Carroll?
Well, I was a roadie with the Premier Race, or the Pioneer Races was that time, 1956. And the wagon broke down, and my garage man had the garage opposite where Johnny Carroll lives, and his mechanic, the chief mechanic Danny Doherty and Patsy Haw, towed the wagon down to the garage, and I was in the following evening to see how things was, and my manager came in then afterwards to see was it ready, but in the meantime I had heard this music from across the road, a trumpet player, and I used to listen to Radio Luxembourg that time, and there was a great trumpet player on it called Eddie Calvert, and I said to the manager when he called, I said, there's a better man than Eddie Calvert coming up there, I said, now on the trumpet, I said, and I said, you better go and get him before anyone else comes across him. I said, he's going to be better than Eddie Calvert, which he is, and good luck to him, a great man.
And it was then that he actually joined the band then?
He joined, the manager seen his parents, he was only 13 and a half years of age that time, and he had the short trousers. And he was on the band that time with the short trousers. But the good thing was, the band was great, they were all pioneers that time. So the parents had no qualms much about letting them go, seeing they were all pioneers.
And do you remember the first night on stage with Johnny Carroll, the band? Was it the Premier Races at that stage?
It was the Pioneer Races that time. And that actually changed the name from the Pioneer Races to the Premier Race, because the Pioneer crowd in Dublin, officials, didn't want them to use that name. Very strange now. Oh, I was the first night with Johnny and them, and he was brilliant, and always will be.
And do you remember where that dance was?
As far as I remember, it could be in Gortigani, near Ballyhonus. Very famous hall after.
And were you roadie with them then for many years?
I was a roadie with them then for a year or two, or maybe after that. And then, the manager got his own wagon then, and I hit England.
And what was it like going around in those days to the dance halls with a big band like the Premier Race?
Oh, going around, well, for a start there was no proper road, it was all sand roads. You could go to 20 miles and you wouldn't see a signpost. And then the electric then was very scarce at the time too. Some places wouldn't have it at all, they'd have to have a generator. And then of course the amplification then was nothing. Now they have lorries bringing this stuff. That time I used to bring it on top of the wagon. Big changes altogether, but there used to be great crowds that time. And the Premier Races had the famous followers, genuine followers. The place was always packed.
What's your best memory of those days with Johnny in the band and yourself as road manager going playing the dances?
Well, the best of it all is that it was good crack with the music. But when we'd be coming home in the small hours of the morning and there'd be general elections or any sort of elections, we'd put up on the road and we'd be speeching and kicking football and everything. And I remember a few times, that time the farmers' houses, they'd have fairly big gardens in front of the house, and they'd have a cock of hay saved on it because there's no lawnmowers that time anyway, I suppose. I remember several times we'd go in forward and we'd lift the cock of hay straight up and carry it out and put it in the drive or somewhere, anywhere but what it was. Oh yeah, they were wild, but we weren't blackguards now.
Great days.
Great days.
Great memories.
Great memories, and long may they continue now for the likes of us, like.
And how are you feeling about tonight here, been here for Johnny's 66 years in the business?
Well, here for Johnny's 66 years in the business, and I'm coming up 89 myself now, and my wife had died 2 years ago, but we were everywhere. But I had to make a great effort to come here, but if I had to come on one leg, I'd come to, and I feel marvellous. I feel $1 million now.
Hi, my name is Ger Donnellan, and I'm from Dublin. And I've come here tonight to celebrate with John, who happens to be my first cousin. I'm originally from Castlereagh. I'm his Uncle Tim's daughter, and thrilled and delighted that he's having this night and that he's in such good health.
Well, I remember when I was only a kid, we used to have a little sweet shop, a shop in Castlereagh, and we were the last shop on the way out of the town. And when I was 10, 11, 12, mad for music, and I was just after getting my first kit of drums. And my idols were the Premier Aces, because the shop was the last shop, and when they were going to a gig, whether it was 50 or 100 miles down the road, they used to stop at our place to load up with the sweets and the chocolate and the crisps and the minerals. And I used to see all the boys coming out in the sheepskin jackets, and I thought, Jesus, if I could only be like them. And lucky enough, I spent my life playing music, and the big thing, I suppose, was starting Mike Denver and starting the band with him. And it was a dream come true, but I have to say, Johnny Carroll in a sheepskin jacket and the Premier Aces started the whole lot. Well, certainly was the inspiration.
Hello, my name is Martina Connolly and I'm from Clarenbridge, County Galway, and I'm here tonight to celebrate with Johnny both his birthday and 65 years on the road. So hope it'll be a good night. Looking forward to it.
Johnny's a lifelong friend of mine. I remember him from the very early days of the old bands. We've been friends ever since, and when Johnny comes to play in Birmingham, we meet there, and I've been at many of his functions here over all the years.
You're very welcome back to part 2 of the programme. Well, Johnny Carroll started off his music career in his hometown with the Castlereagh Brass and Reed Band. Well, we're here with the famous Castlereagh Brass and Reed Band, who Johnny Carroll started off his career. Who's with you here today?
Well, just here in this group here at the minute, we have our band leader there, Richard Thompson, well-known Castlereagh man, and Danny Burke. Mildred Barton, well-known as well. Joe Perrell there at the back, and Tom Flynn. Now, the most unique one here is Tom Flynn. In a way, he's the only member of the band present that actually played with Johnny Carroll back in 1953 or 54. So, well done, Tom, for that. And Tom is delighted to be here tonight to honour Johnny Carroll, and we're very proud of Johnny as well, that he's a byproduct of the Brass and Reed Band. That's where he started his career. So.
Of course, Danny, you were there a long time as well, aren't you?
Well, really, I'm kind of a latecomer of the band now. I didn't join the band really until about 93, sorry. And I only went in learning, and I'm still learning, you know what I mean? Still with we're always learning. But I've been great friends of Johnny Carroll, the Carroll family, both his late father, Joe, and the mother, and we used to go to see the mother in the nursing home, and we're up for her great birthdays. The 70th, the 80th, the 90th and the 100th, and we had some great days. But Johnny was a credit to Castlereagh, because every time we hear Johnny Carroll going back, you know, we always think about the Castlereagh Brass and Reed, because that's when we first joined with Thomas Flynn. Our chairman says he's the only one that's left in it. And of course, many times I've been asking they ask in quizzes and question times, who was the last Roscommon man to play in an All-Ireland final? And no one could think of what Johnny did at a hurling final with Galway, and there was a Cork or someone.
No. Mildred Byrne, of course, well known. How did you end up with these boys here in Castlereagh, Mildred? Are you the only woman in the band as well, eh?
Well, no, there's a few more women, but I'm with the band about 14 years. Best thing ever I done was to join them. But going back to Johnny Carroll, my late husband taught Johnny when he was about 10 or 12, and Johnny never forgot that, you know. And it's lovely. I remember when I married Leo first, he'd be talking about Johnny Carroll. Hadn't a clue who Johnny Carroll was. But I wasn't long married to Leo when I found out that Johnny Carroll was the famous Johnny Carroll. But I joined the band about 14, 15 years ago. On the night it was Danny Burke's birthday. And I definitely had no regrets. And just to play, and I started off playing the saxophone with them. And of course then they brought me down to the drums, and of course I loved it, because you're at the back, you can see everything that's happening, you know, and you can wave to this one and you can wave to that one. So to be here tonight is an honour, to be part of this band, to play for Johnny tonight. Love it.
Lovely. I'll just have a quick word with Tom before we finish. Tom, you were the last member of this band here to play with John. Do you remember those days?
Oh, clearly. 1953 I started. He'd be about 5 years after that again, 53, around 1960 or so.
And do you regard him as a good musician?
Oh, sure. Have I a choice? Sure. Didn't he leave us all behind?
And what did you play in the band?
Trumpet, same thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And you reckon he was a better trumpet player than you?
Well, that wouldn't be hard for him. No. When I went into the band, I had a fair bit of piano music done, and violin music, and that sort of thing. So I hadn't really to learn the paperwork. So it was easier for me.
And it took Johnny a long time to get into the band. He was trying for months to get into it, and it took him a while to get into it. They eventually got him into it.
I don't recall that bit of it now.
He told me that himself.
Yeah, sure. Sure. No, it wasn't hard to get into it then, because we were looking for members with prospects or something of being good, and which he was, of course.
I think they felt he was too young or something at the time.
Well, he was only what we call a gossoon. A gossoon.
And you've been a member of the Castlereagh Brass Band how many years altogether?
1953.
Wow.
You can start do your subtraction there now. That'd be about over 70 years ago, wouldn't it be?
And still enjoy it?
You would have no choice.
Well, you have a choice to retire.
Well, agreed. No, I don't use that word at all. Because some get into the head about this retire, there's time for me to go, and I'm getting on and this and that. It'll go down that road, you're lost.
Well, look, many more years of great music with the Castlereagh Brass Reed Band. It's a fantastic band. And as I say, they're famous all over the place because... now, you're the...
Richard Thompson. Band leader Richard Thompson.
Band leader. Sorry, Richard, yeah.
Not at all. I joined the band 10 years ago. They wanted to bring youth into it. The age profile is getting a bit high. So I fitted the bill. And I'm from Ballintubber, where the regional Premier Races came from. Nice. And it was a great musicians. They had the Rhythm Stars down through the years. Patsy McCall, all of them. It's a great era for music, yeah. So I wish Johnny well, and I knew him. I knew his father and mother very, very well, and I'm too young to remember him playing.
Yeah, and of course there was a great reunion there of the Premier Races in Ballintubber some years ago.
There was, yeah. Pat Garvey got them together, Mickey Slime and all them all, Larry Carroll and them, great, and we had them in the Marquee in Ballintubber Village. Rocked the place, great, and brought back great memories to everyone, and brought people out. And then we had them in the Don Arms the following year or two, great, and they were great times.
Sonny, great to see you here in Galway for Johnny Carroll's big night. Of course, you worked alongside Johnny in the days of the premieres, going back all those years.
That's right. I was with them for the first night when he had his short pants on. That's a long time ago now. It's only 60s. Well, for me, it's 65 years ago.
How long were you together then with the
Johnny and myself, we worked together for about 14 years. And then we went our separate ways. But we always kept in contact all the time.
And what did you play in the band, Sonny?
I did tenor sax.
Yeah, so you were the two brass men in the band?
Two brass men, yeah. Well, Paddy Malone was brass as well, and there was a few more. Johnny, of course, trumpet. But yeah, we were the three main brass men. You know. So that's it.
Annette, great to see you here in Galway for this wonderful occasion, and what a night of entertainment it's going to be.
Absolutely, Henry. It's great to be here. A great night for Johnny Carroll, celebrating his 80th birthday and 66 years in the showbiz. And we were delighted, John Staunton and I, to be part of this evening. Because believe it or not, Henry, Johnny Carroll is from Castlereagh, and I'm a Ballymo girl, so we were neighbours, and I went to school with a lot of his family as well. So it's great connections tonight.
And you would have come across Johnny performing over the years and some shows and that up and down the country, as yourself does as well.
Indeed I have, Henry. I always remember one particular one out in the Connemara Coast Hotel for the BB Baskin. Do you remember BB's show on RTE? I think, was it Monday night or was at 9:30? So myself and Johnny were the special guests there. And maybe even at different weddings, I might be doing the church, Johnny would be doing the reception, we would meet him, and always a lovely lad, always a gentleman, and I'm so happy for Johnny tonight and his family.
Tony, great to see you here in Galway for Johnny Carroll's celebration. Of course, it's very personal for you as well.
It's very personal because Johnny and I married two sisters, Stella Carroll, Stella Geraghty and Anne Geraghty. I introduced Johnny to Stella at a Jimmy McGee All-Stars dance, where the Mighty Avens were on the Premier races, were playing against Joe Dolan, and Doc Carroll was, and the Premier races were playing against the Mighty Avens and Joe Dolan. And afterwards in the Longford Arms, the Jimmy McGee All-Stars were all performing, and I introduced Johnny that night to Stella, Lord of Mercy on her. And I have no doubt she's looking down on us tonight, and she's celebrating as well with Johnny and his 66th anniversary. He has made an immense contribution to the music business. A much better trumpet player than I ever was. Tony Collins, another trumpet player, but Johnny was the king of us all, really and truly. It's wonderful to see Eddie Sullivan here tonight, who played trumpet with Brendan Boyer and the Royal Show Band. And everyone is here to celebrate with Johnny. I've never seen such a crowd in any venue in the last number of years like what's here tonight.
It reminds you of the old days.
Well, I'd certainly say the West's awake here tonight, big time. And it's terrific to be here with Johnny and all his family, and all Stella's family and Anne's family from Temple Knowe and all of those. It's just fantastic to be here, and it's a privilege.
Well, we hope you enjoyed part one of our music special to mark the 80th birthday of showband legend Johnny Carroll. Now, don't forget to join us next week at the same time for part two, where we'll have special performances and interview with many of Johnny's friends from the showband scene. We'll also have a special interview and performance from the birthday boy himself, plus that all-important birthday cake. So we look forward to your company next week at the same time. So until then, slán go fóill. Fáilte Rómha Cóide, you welcome indeed to another edition of the programme. Well, last week we brought you part one of a music extravaganza from the Clayton Hotel in Galway in aid of the Galway Hospice to mark the 80th birthday of legendary music star Johnny Carroll. Well, this evening we're bringing you the concluding part of the programme, featuring many of Johnny's friends from the world of showbiz, plus a special interview and performance from the man himself, and that all-important birthday cake.
Fantastic Johnny Carroll!
Mark, great to see you here in the Clayton Hotel in Galway. You're the master, certainly. You're holding the whole show together tonight.
I love the way you say that. Well, that's the intention. That was on the small print, I think. Yeah, so it's going to be great. It's we're looking forward to it. But it is a cast of thousands. So remember Live Aid in the 80s? This is the Galway version.
Is it the way to Amarillo? Every night I keep hugging my pillow, dreaming dreams of Amarillo. The sweet Marie who waits for me. Show me the way to Amarillo. I've been weeping like a willow, crying over Amarillo. The sweet Marie who waits for me. Go!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next artist this evening. I remember when I was a kid, my uncle had a lot of vinyl albums, and one of them was an album called Sunny Side of the Mountain. And we used to play it to death. It was fab. And he's after telling me it was 48 years ago. I know. I was about 2. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the fantastic John Glenn.
Don't forget me, little darling, while I'm growing old and gray. Just a little thought before I'm going far away. I'll be waiting on the hillside where the wild red roses grow, on the sunny side of the mountain where the rippling waters flow. Don't forget about those days recorded many years ago. Don't forget those promises you gave me, and so it's been so long, dear, since I've seen you, but my love still lingers on. Don't forget me, little darling, though our love affair seems gone. Come on, clap your hands. Here we go. That's it.
John, you've come a long way to be here tonight for the big celebration.
Yeah, great to be here, Henry. Yeah, I've known Johnny a long time. I can remember one night when the Wrangler started in '78. We were just getting up and going, and we had a van that we were waiting to. We had a new van order. We were going through Salt Hill one evening, and something happened. The van broke down. But Johnny told us to the gig in Salt Hill. I can't remember where it was. But anyway, yeah, I know Johnny a long time, so I wanted to wish him all the best, and hopefully I'll be around for his retirement party.
Farewell to you, Roscommon, from too far to the Shannon shore. Farewell to boy on French Park, I will never see you more. The cotton fields near men, Christmas remain a home for me. But I'll always love my Roscommon girl, she's the Rose of Castlereagh. She may not have been a pretty queen, she might never be a rose, but to me she is the fairest flower that in the garden grows. Although I'm in America, across the Atlantic Sea, shall I always love my Roscommon girl, she's the Rose of Castlereagh. Shall I always love my Roscommon girl, she's the Rose of Castlereagh.
Brendan, you just come straight from another gig to be here tonight.
Well, you know something? When I was 16 or 17 or 20, I wasn't that busy. But like the old times, it was great to walk in and see throngs of people and trying to get into the lift and trying to get up with your gear. You'd imagine that it probably was maybe 40, 50 years ago, but it is great to see it. And a great mixture of people and a great cross-section of people. But then Johnny is very, very, very well respected in the business. He's been a long time in it. He's, you know, I'm nearly as long myself, but he's just got there before me. But we all respect Johnny, and he done a great job down through the years. And I hope he'll be going for a lot longer.
Where did you meet her? I met her in the Garteen Hall. In the Garteen Hall, I asked her about the dance and she said she would. A man didn't know me all in the room. I met her in the Garteen Hall.
What a Ryan, great to meet up with you again. Last time we met up was with the Bros Welsh Band in Castlebar. This is a big occasion tonight.
It's a big occasion tonight, surely. And you're still working away, Tommy. Still making the bands, making history. You know, these will be very valuable yet. Because in a few years' time, you'll be the only one alive, and you'll be able to show us what those crazy guys of the show band era were like.
And of course, you remember Johnny in the Premier Races going back all those years ago.
Remember him in the Premier Races. Remember him with Murphy and the Swallows. I remember him with Magic Band. You know, all of those. Noel Carty had them, and there was a wee boy in an electric box with electric lights flashing around him. A man from Drogheda, and Johnny was the main man in the band. It was incredible. I met Sonny Ward here tonight, here all the time from Murphy and the Swallows. There's so many of them around, and that there's so many of them gone. That's the very sad part of it. But tonight is a night for celebration, a night to give Johnny his due regards, a man who has kept blowing a trumpet for almost 70 years and making a living out of it, and is still as fresh today as he was when I first saw him. Little lighter on the top, but still everything else is there. And he's been a really good showman, knows what people like, has always, Johnny doesn't make fans, he makes friends. And he can stop off. There's a big difference. And that's why there's 800 here in the hall tonight, on a cold winter's November night. And there's 800 people in the hall because they want to show their appreciation for the good that Johnny did.
Carroll, we're backstage. You've just come off stage performing here to a massive crowd here in the Clayton Hotel in Galway.
Yes, absolutely massive, and it's great for Johnny. I'm so delighted for him. Like, he has worked so hard for the last 66 years, and it's great to see so many people here from him. I'm delighted for him.
And because you're a neighbour of Johnny's.
Yes, just a few miles down the road. Johnny's Castlerea, and I'm a little village called Tibohan. It's about 7 miles from Castlerea. So I've known Johnny all my life. Yeah, so it's great.
Tonight in Galway in the Clayton Hotel, I'm sure coming in it reminds you of the great old dance hall days and the show bands.
It sure did, Henry. I didn't see crowds like this for, I'd say, 40 years since I played over in Mayo and Westport and Claremorris and Ballina, Whittlesey, where else? Of course, the TF, and I can't forget Belcarra. Great dance halls there back in the day, but tonight is exceptional. It's a great tribute to Johnny Carroll. As you probably know, this is all about him tonight, and I'm over to do a spot, which is great. I'm delighted. Meeting loads of friends and people I didn't meet for years. Great.
You're no stranger to Johnny. You even wrote a song of it for him.
Well, I did when he was 50 years on the road, and maybe when he's 70 I might change it from 50 to 70. It's not too far away now. It's only another 3 or 4 years, I think. Henry, great man and a long career, and tonight proves how popular the man is, you know, and long may he continue.
John, great to see you here in the Clayton in Galway for this big night tonight.
Yeah, it's a wonderful occasion, and I am delighted to be invited here. I know Johnny a long time. I danced to him in the Granada Ballroom in Kingscourt, County Cavan some years ago. I think I told him to lift to it. So I'm delighted to be here and be part of the show.
We're so happy of you. It's great.
Johnny, we're here in the Clayton Hotel in Galway. An exciting night tonight. First of all, can I ask you just how you're feeling about tonight?
I'm Henry. I have to tell you, as you know, I'm 67 years. I'm nervous enough because I've been down there in the foyer and there's about, I met 200 people already from all over Ireland that are here tonight, from Belfast, Cork, Dublin, Kerry, that I haven't seen for many, many years. And I'm thrilled to meet them. But I'm confident enough because they're all my friends, and if I'm not playing as well as I used to, they'll accept it at 80 years of age, And 67 years later, I'm still at it. But if I didn't want to do it, I wouldn't have done it, Henry. I love the music. I love the business, and my parents saw that.
Well, the Premiers were very successful show bands. You were with them for many years, and then you went on to form the Magic Band.
Yeah, I was with the Premiers for 12, 13 years. We were a huge band. We were in the top 10 bands in Ireland for maybe 10 years at least, with the great singer was Houston Wells at the time. He had a big hit with Above and Beyond and Only the Heartaches in England. Houston was with us. So, yeah, and then a few of us, like you get the itch, and a few of us decided to do something different, and we started a band called Murphy and the Swallows. Remember that? Margaret Murphy. Yeah. And we're managed by a great friend of mine who unfortunately died recently, the great Noel Carty. So Noel managed Murphy and the Swallows, and then I decided to change the format again, and we started a band called Magic and the Magic Band. Now, Magic and the Magic Band was a semi-pop band at the time, semi-country pop band, and we had big promotion. Noel managed us, and Joe O'Neill, the Lord Mercy, and he financed us and all that. So I was on the road to Magic for maybe, 6 or 7 years, and that was very successful. But then again, business started getting tough, the ballrooms were closing, and the reason the ballrooms were closing, Henry, is that people were getting more fond of the bit of luxury. They're going to the bars and the hotels with a bit of carpet and the drink. It was the drink really that closed the big ballrooms. But that's, and I progressed from there and started my own Johnny Carroll, the man with the golden trumpet, so I'm still at it.
Can I just ask you, Johnny, had you not spent your life in music, what career do you think you would have had?
I was never asked that before. I often thought what I would do. But I thought for a minute, Henry, and I think I possibly would have been an electrician. And the reason being is that I may have had no grow for it at the time, but when you're in the show band business, things are so tricky on the theatre, wires and amplifiers, and you go to halls where the green wires where the red wire should be, and you'd be knocked on your backside, And I always had a face tester, and you'd be testing the amps, and you'd be testing this, that, and the other before I went on. And it's always good maybe changing wires and plugs like that. So possibly I would have been an electrician, which would have been all right too, but.
In the hands of your
My God, you know, how did it go through these 67 years? You see, people see on stage, particularly in this day and age, they have the roadies now and they have their cars and things like that, and nothing wrong with that, and they have their motorways. But in our time, there was 8 guys in the back of a bet-up van travelling from Roscommon, Castlereagh to Belfast, back up to down to Cork the following night, going into a field playing in a marquee to 1,000, 1,200 people, sweating for 4 hours, coming out. Maybe the van broke down on the way home, and up the following day again. It was a tough, tough life. But you know, I think it was the people and the audience that kept you going. You think at that particular time, Henry, bands were 6, 7, 8-piece bands. But compared to now, that time in the band business, each individual had their own little fan club, shall I say. We all knew people. So for argument's sake, if Henry or Johnny left the band, they say, "Where's Henry Johnny tonight?" He'd have the lead singer, but they always missed the trumpet player or the guitar or the drummer. So that time we were a very close-knit family. But it was a tough life, a very tough life. And I said, well, that's why so many people left it later on in life. And fortunately enough, I stuck with it because I suppose I left school so young and I realised that if I didn't stick with music, I had no other profession. A lot of guys before they joined the band business, they were doing other jobs and they went back to what they did originally, but I had to stick with it. But after saying that, Henry, I wouldn't have stuck with it unless I really wanted to. And I really love the business and I love the people I met. And as you can see down there tonight, coming into the hotel, I met people after 40, 50, 60 years coming in there tonight, which I would never have met, only from music.
Oh, when the band begins to play, oh, when the band begins to play, I want to be here, I want to be back from the front to cool hell. Oh, the band begins to play.
How do you see your future now? At this stage of your life, what next for Johnny?
Look, to tell you about tonight, like I probably wouldn't be here tonight only for one person. I have a great good friend called Julie Healy. Julie's a lovely woman, a very successful businesswoman here in Galway, and Julie was ringing around people. She knew it was my 80th, and she knew that nobody has done this before, so she decided on her own that she's going to acknowledge this. And I heard it from a few of the artists, so I rang and said, "What's happening, Julie?" She says, "Johnny, we have to." I said, "Julie, I'm not getting involved in any way. I'm going to leave you to do all of the organising." I said, well, on one condition, I want every penny to go to the Galway hospice. So that's the way. But I said to Julie earlier on, and I said, "This is it, Julie. No more surprises." But you know, with Julie, you never know. But this is the big one. This is the one. And the reason being is that I think that I've met so many people here this evening, and hopefully later on tonight, that I haven't seen Henry for so many years. And people often say to me, "Why do you still do it?" Well, I said, if I didn't do it, I'd never have met these people again. And it's lovely to meet friends. And I meet people there this evening that said, "Johnny, we danced to you in such a Carroll in 1962 or 63, and they're happily married and grandchildren now." But Henry, what other business would you meet nice people like that? And that's the reason I do it. Marvellous people, you know.
Well, look, congratulations, Johnny, on your 66 years in showbiz. A tremendous record. And on your 80th birthday, and may you continue to blow that fabulous trumpet for many years to come.
I definitely won't be doing it in any like I used to in any shape or form. I still want to do it, and I still do some fundraising around the country. I'm doing like Glenamedy a few weeks' time. Did one at the Galway Cathedral there some time ago for the Galway Hospice. But I have some of the will travel, but not as much as I used to. Well, I keep at it, Henry.
Enjoy tonight because it's your night tonight.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much indeed, Henry. Good to see you. And Henry, just to say, you and I go back a long, long way. A long way. We won't talk, but that's for another show. Yeah, okay. And you're looking great after all the years.
A night of entertainment, a packed audience, and thousands of euros raised for the Galway Hospice. And congratulations once again to Johnny Carroll on his 80th birthday and 66 years in the music business. Well, it's nice to know that the man with the golden trumpet continues to perform for his legions of fans all over the world. So until next week at the same time, slán go fóill.